familia, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Today, as you guys can see from the title, today we're doing Pan That Face Palette Update. I'm so excited about this one. So I am here to update you guys on my main palette and then I share with you guys how I felt about the two palettes that I rolled in for this past month. But first, if you're new to my channel, welcome to the familia. My name is Alejandra. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash of magic pan. If that is something that interests you, subscribe, join us, and now let's get on with this update. Alright, you guys, so I am currently panning the Tarte Pro Glow palette. You guys know I've been saying this since day one from this year, so here we go with this update. Last month I had shared with you guys that I had some sort of progress on it. You saw little dips in here. It was going to take a while for me to hit pan on any of these shadows, or I shouldn't say shadows, highlighters. I've been working on Lit and Fire from this palette, and as you guys can see now, they're still looking used and abused, but you might not be able to see any more dents in here. It's going to take a while, you guys. This is going to be redundant and I feel bad, but it is what it is. These are the two shades that I'm working on. In the up close, you saw that you can see that I have worn it down pretty well, mainly Fire over Lit. These two have been so good mixed together. I love them. I have not touched either one of these two over here at all this past month, Strobe and Stunner, or the Sculpt shade. This whole side has been untouched for the last month. I'm still working on this side because I know that this side will pretty soon not be able to get used once I lose my tan. How I've been using this, you guys have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, you guys have seen that I post my daily look, or not my look, my daily makeup that I use. I post it there and I show you guys my look on my stories itself. So on there, you've seen that I have posted this palette. I don't post it every single day, but I use it mainly every day. If I'm not using this on my face, I'm using it on my body. Since it is a summer and I am showing off my shoulders or my décolleté, I am wearing this almost daily, if not on my face, on my body. I'm not wearing it today. I decided to switch it up a little bit, but I am wearing a shade that's very similar to this one right here. It is a beautiful palette. It still smells like chocolate. Nothing's gone wrong with it. It's a hot mess. It's very dirty, but it looks used and abused, as you guys can see. We're going to keep trucking along. We have, what, 4 months left of the year, and then we'll see where we end with it. I'll put it away for a while and then start something new next year, but I'm happy that this palette no longer looks so brand new and untouched, and it is a great palette. I am so pleased and so happy with these highlighters. I am not complaining one bit at all. Now, I rolled in 2 palettes this past month. I told you guys that I wanted to take advantage of some palettes that I can only use when I do have a tan, because there's no use of rolling those in randomly in the wintertime, and then I really can't get use out of them. So the first one I rolled in was Pixi by Petra's Honey Nectar palette. This is a little quad. It comes with 2 highlighters, a bronzer, and a blush. This one surprised me. You guys can see, I don't know if you guys can see from here, this bronzer is so pigmented and so deep that I'm glad that I did use it this month. I'm glad I used it when I had a tan, because now I know in the future this is definitely only a palette I can use when I do have a tan. So it'll probably be pulled out next summer again. The only color I did not use was this blush right here and this pink one. These are too pink for me right now. I'm more into the peachy tones, so I really didn't get use out of them. This highlighter is beautiful, so I mainly got use out of the highlighter and the bronzer, not necessarily the blush, and definitely not this highlighter. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with these once I lose my tan in the fall, because these are the colors I tend to use in the wintertime, not necessarily right now. But this bronzer, yeah, that's super pigmented. But I will say that this bronzer may be the same formula as this blush, so they're going to go rather quickly, because you guys can see that I'm already wearing this off and I didn't use this every day. So I think that these two are going to be worn off faster, and these are going to take a little bit longer because these are more of the gelée formula type of highlighters. It's beautiful on the skin, but you got to be careful because it will show texture, so you got to wear them gently. So I like this one. It's really nice, and I'm curious to know if there is a lighter version of this, but this is beautiful. The other palette I chose was this one, the Becca by Chrissy Teigen. Oh my gosh, this one was so good. So good. It exceeded my expectations. I knew this was going to be good, but every time I wore it, I'm like, oh my goodness, why is Becca leaving? Why is Becca going away? My goodness, their face powders, their face products are just so good on the skin. I used everything in here. Love the bronzer. These two I mixed together, these highlighters, I mixed them together and my gosh, they look so glowy and beautiful, and I glow within. I loved it. It didn't look so peachy and pink on my skin. It actually looked beautiful. It looked stunning. Why, Becca? And then this blush is so beautiful for the summer. I enjoyed this palette a lot more than the Pixie one because I got use out of all four of these. My gosh, man, I love it. Absolutely love this. This is so, so pretty. This is going to last me a while because they're very pigmented. But so glad I got use out of this. This is so beautiful. All right, now for the roll-ins for this month, I have a list going because there's a lot that I want to use and play around with, but I think I narrowed it down to these two. Now that I've gotten the hang of how to incorporate the palettes into my everyday use, mixing them around with the things that I'm panning, so on and so forth, giving myself a break from the panning stuff, I think I picked two good ones. The first one I want to choose, because I just am so upset that Becca is leaving us, is this one. This is the Becca Chloe Malika palette. This is the darker version. This one was the one that was the collaboration with Malika, not Chloe. This is the darker one. Look how beautiful that is. That blush right here, wow. If you see it in person, it looks like a grapefruit. It's so beautiful. So in here, I am getting two blushes, a bronzer, and a highlighter. So highlighter, blushes, and a bronzer. I just want to play with it. I just want to play with it, play it around. I'm warning you now, this is not going to look used. I have heard and seen other people try to pan this palette, not necessarily the darker version, but the lighter version, and they've used it over 100 times and it looks like they barely touched it. It looks like it's still like this. So I'm pretty sure that even though I will be using this next month, it'll look just like this. And that's okay. At least I know I got use out of it during the summer. So this is the next palette I want to pull out and play around with. It just looks so beautiful, and I'm still mad at Becca. The other one I wanted to have a smaller one, more that's a little bit not too many variety, not to overwhelm myself basically. And I chose this. This is the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Glow. This is it's not a bronzer. It's like a highlighter, blush, and bronzer gradient. And the one that I am choosing is Instant Warm Glow. I have all three of them. One is super light, so I could do that in the winter. One has more of a pinky blush, and this one is right in between. The bronzer over here looks a bit dark. So does the blush and the highlighter compared to the other ones that I have. So I figured this would be perfect for this time of year. So then I can play around with it. I haven't touched it, haven't swatched it. It's brand spanking new. But I think this will be nice. A different change from my normal, things that I'm using. And I can play around with it. See if I can get a rosy bronzer, or like that blonzer thing. I can do it right here because I never got that from Bare Minerals. Or a highlighting blush. So I got options. I have options. So I wanted something smaller and compact, and it was between this one or a Tarte one. But I think I did good with this one because I haven't used it and it is brand new still, and I've had it for a while. All right, you guys, that is it. If you guys want to see when I use these palettes and with what I use them as far as the rest of my makeup, I try to post on the daily. I try to post daily on my Instagram posts themselves. 6 products that I'm using. I use obviously a lot more daily, but 6 products that I'm using, and most of the time it would be one of these, so you guys can see how many times I've used them, how I'm using them, with what eyeshadow palettes I'm using them, with what other products I'm using them. So you can follow me on my Instagram story, or my Instagram, and then you can see the looks that I do on the stories themselves if that is something that interests you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will do my best to continue to use this one. We'll see where it goes. I don't know if I'll hit pan. I told you guys that, but I'm okay. I'm okay because it is getting used and I love it. Maybe I'll tally how many times I use this so you guys can hear how often I'm using it now, considering that I won't be hitting pan anytime soon on that. So maybe that's what I'll do for you guys. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put more videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, adios.